Radio. So get ready to buy, sell, and trade every Saturday right here on Beaver County Radio. The Yankee Trader Show is brought to you by your friends at Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
Let's face it, work is a large part of your life. Why not choose a job that allows the opportunity of a fulfilling career working with people who appreciate you? St. Barnabas Health System is looking for extraordinary, service-minded people to join our team. Earn and learn with career opportunities on our clinical, housekeeping, and food service teams. For more information and to apply, visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-444-JOBS. Jobs that are apart from the ordinary. Find them at St. Barnabas Health System.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls. Welcome to the Best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas, a weekly segment dedicated to putting the focus on the amazing things and the amazing people behind them in Beaver County. The Best of Beaver County is sponsored by and content is provided by St. Barnabas. The show airs every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and
now.
Facebook Live. Now, with no further ado, let's welcome host Mike Romine to introduce today's program.
2, 3.
Good morning and welcome to the Best of Beaver County. I'm Mike Romine, and we have a special guest this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Best of Beaver County.
Exciting people, important people, businesses, and trying to bring you up to date on things going on in the community. This guy has performed around the area for at least, that I know, at least the past 40 years. Mickey CHERICO is with us. He used to be with a band called Gigolo. He now travels with the Divas, his daughters, and he's just all over the place still. Mickey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. Great
so
to see
good
you
to see
guys.
you all over the place. And you're still,
Mickey, how are you doing?
I'm
working.
doing still busy, best we can. And the man recently has been great.
Still busy, best
so
we can.
We'll take every advantage.
The man recently
before we get into all the stuff about the band and your daughters and stuff, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you first start performing?
I started, I played guitar at age 7. Started very young, musical family,
played guitar at
the
age
whole,
7.
my cousins,
Started
uncles,
very
they all
young,
played.
Musical family,
So started playing professionally at age 14,
uncles, they all played.
and
started
continued
playing
and really never
professionally at age
stopped.
14.
Yeah.
Never
So it
stopped.
came natural to you? Did you have to figure things out at 7?
Well, at 7 you're taking the lessons. By age 13 I was playing in bands.
Well, at 7
which
you're taking the lessons.
I was the young
by
guy,
age
so
13,
I wasn't
was
able to
playing
drive,
in
and
bands, which
not at that age,
I was the young
obviously,
guy,
and so
I wasn't
needed
able to drive,
to hook up with some
and,
older guys that were able
not
to
at that age,
drive,
obviously,
and I was the young
so
kid.
needed,
So.
And parents
to hook up
didn't
with
have
some
any
older
problems
guys
about
that were
that.
able to
This young
drive,
kid
and
driving
I
around
was the young kid.
in the era of rock and roll and psychedelic and all that stuff.
Getting home at 3, 4 in the morning, and but you know, it was all about the music.
Getting home at 3, 4 in the morning.
As
and,
far as that's
but,
concerned,
you
did you
know, it
have
was all
any?
about the music.
You said you come from a very musical family. Anybody that kind of inspired you to do it?
Absolutely. Aunts and uncles, of course, my cousins, the Bellacorsa family, Gene Bellacorsa, Bobby
Aunts and uncles,
Bellacorsa.
of course, my cousins, the Bellacorsa
You know, really on both
Gene
sides. On
Bellacorsa,
the
Bobby
CHERICO
Bellacorsa.
side, which my dad was from Bloomfield, are all
You know,
involved
really
in
on
music
both
and
sides.
DJs and
On
things
the
like
CHERICO
that.
side,
But the
my dad was
musicians
from
came from the
Bloomfield, all
Bellacorsa
involved in
side,
music
and they
DJs
were
and things
all
like that.
professionals to this
But the
day. In
musicians
fact,
came from
being
the
inducted
Bellacorsa
into
side,
the
and
Beaver
they
County
were
Hall of
all
Fame.
professionals to this
My
day.
cousin
In fact,
Gene,
being
who was
inducted
my
into
inspiration
the
on
Beaver
guitar,
County Hall of
and
Fame.
my cousin
My
Bobby,
Gene,
Bellacorsa as
who
well.
was my
There's a little bit of
inspiration.
Italian mixed in there.
There is some on both sides, yeah.
There's a little bit of Italian
And what kind of
mixed in
music
there.
were they playing
There
around
is
family
some
gatherings?
on both sides.
Everything
yeah.
from jazz to
And what kind of
country
music were
to
they
pop
playing
to
around family
R&B.
gatherings?
It's
Everything
funny, my
from
uncle
jazz to country to
started,
pop
had
to
a
R&B.
country radio show,
It's
so
funny,
they
my uncle
actually called him the Italian
started had
Cowboy
a
back in
country radio
this
show.
is
So they actually
pre-World War
called him the
II,
Italian
actually,
Cowboy
believe it or
back in.
not.
This is
So an Italian playing country
pre-World War
music,
II,
can you
actually,
imagine?
believe it
You
or
know,
not.
back then that was rare.
So, an Italian
Like in
playing
the golf,
country music.
doesn't anybody here know Italian?
Back then, that was rare.
It was an anomaly, but yeah, it kind of started there. So
It was
Like a lot
it
of
was
weddings,
an anomaly,
or you
but,
attended a lot of
yeah,
weddings
but
whenever
it
you were a
kinda
kid,
started
and
there,
they
so-
always had the
But I
Italian
was
band
there
there set up.
every, nowadays, of course, with social media media
band
and
there,
phones,
Jeff.
everybody kind of goes their own separate way. But
nowadays,
back
with
then,
social media
family
and phones,
gatherings
everybody kind
consisted
of goes
of
their own
homemade
separate
wine,
way. But back
accordion,
then,
guitar
family
around the table,
gatherings
and
consisted
songs,
of
music,
homemade wine,
and you know,
accordion,
records being
guitar
played,
around the
and
table,
constant.
and songs,
I grew up in a
music,
great way. You know, I wish
records being played.
young people can
constant,
experience that.
I grew up in a great way.
So there was no
you know,
other
I wish
choice, basically.
No choice,
people-
right,
It was
right.
basically, this
I
is what
was-
you're going to do.
I was sold into
Yeah.
it. Yep.
And,
No choice,
but
right,
as
right.
you found out
I
as a
was-
young kid, a
I
teenager,
was sold into
Yeah.
it.
it doesn't
yeah.
always pay the
And,
bills.
but
Back in those
as
days,
you
you probably
found out
might
as
have
a
gotten
young kid,
25,
teenager,
50 bucks
it doesn't
for
always
playing
pay
a
the
night.
bills. Back in
Well,
those
the funny
days,
thing,
you
I
might have
was
gotten
at
25, 50
15
bucks,
booking the band.
for playing
You can
a night.
imagine,
Well,
I was
the funny
playing with
thing,
20,
I was
21-year-olds, but the agents would
15
call me,
booking the
and
band. You can
I remember
imagine.
making
I was playing
$30
with
a night.
20,
That was,
21-year-olds, but the agents
you
would
know,
call me, and,
1974. That was
I remember
that was
making
all right.
$30
You
a
know,
night. That was
so it was.
1974.
What was-
that
what was the
that
first band
That
you
was
played
all
with?
right.
Yeah.
You know.
It was called
So it
Ecstasy,
was fun.
actually.
Okay. A
Yeah.
disco band?
Actually,
74, that was a little early for disco, right?
Yeah, we grew up. We all kind of segued into the R&B, but you know, at that point, it was a lot of rock.
Okay.
I'd say, you know, Deep Purple and Chicago. You know, some of the things that,
Okay.
amazingly, the young people still are listening to today, like Led Zeppelin, and it's popular to the young group.
Absolutely. I mean, I went to see
Timeless.
Chicago not long ago, the
Right.
Doobie Brothers, that
Exactly.
kind of stuff.
That's-
and, you know,
that
classic
was-
rock.
That's where it started.
Yeah. So
for
you were
sure.
the Terry Kath of the band?
I still do 25 or 624 till this day.
Is that right? Yeah.
Still do. Yeah, still do.
So in those days, as a teenager, what opened your eyes about being on the road
Yeah.
with a band?
Well, I mean, it was like I say, to me, it was all about the music. Always was.
Now, we've heard many other people, musicians who play guitar, say, it's about the girls. It's a great way to pick up girls.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad thing.
And at 14 years old.
I definitely that was a benefit because it, you know, even in high school, you kind of stood out because you had a band.
Right.
You know.
But you didn't sit on the steps like an Animal House and playing soft melodies with your acoustic guitar.
That
And somebody
wasn't my
comes-
style. Yeah, that wasn't my style.
But you transformed from there. I mean,
Yeah.
and the family, people who are into music and really want to make it a life's work know that you can't just make it that way, especially when you're young, you get married, you have a family. You've got to have something to help out along the way.
Correct. Absolutely. I had to supplement. And I was married at 19, had a child at 20. So, you know, you had to have the day gig. So I basically would work 2 jobs. And back then you could play music 5-6 nights a week. So I was burning my candle pretty
Right, I
good
can
at
imagine.
19, 20 years old.
And then you said earlier, coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning, then turning around and going to your day job.
A lot of that. Actually did that almost my whole life until retirement. But like I said, back in that day, you could play 5-6 nights a week and never have to move equipment. I loved that.
You could stay in the same place.
Leave it
Yeah.
at the Holiday Inn or wherever you were at that point.
Just
Nowadays,
walk out.
everything's one-nighters.
Yeah. In those days, you know, bands were pretty popular, and we could talk about some of the places around. And then there became a time, probably disco era, 78, 79, into some of the 80s, where clubs started to book DJs more often than bands.
Yeah. We saw that. I have to say, the DJs took a lot of the jobs, especially the wedding jobs.
Right.
Spoke to a few people, owners of the Fez and so forth, and they have told me, oh my God, you guys are playing a wedding. You're the first band in 7 years that has played.
Yeah.
It's all DJs. So DJs kind of took over. Even in the 70s, it was popular. But, you know, I'm seeing a resurgence of nowadays.
I see that too.
Of live music, and it's great because a lot of bands are working, so it's awesome.
Yeah, and how has that scene changed for you over the years?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're doing. I have to say we were doing a lot of small clubs and things like that. The wedding band things for corporate has slowed down, especially with COVID. I mean, a lot of that just kind of canceled out. I'm seeing it come back, inch back right now. But right now, I think we're doing more one-nighters, and it's bigger events. It's fun. I mean, the money is finally coming back. Where for a while there it was slim pickings. Yeah. And you needed to supplement with a day job.
Right, and people don't understand. Clubs can hire a DJ for like $100.
Exactly.
And if you get a 4-piece band,
right,
you're going to pay a little bit more than that. So they just decided, and add in cover charge on top of that. And
well, cover charge is not popular, especially in the Beaver County area.
That's a good point to bring up. What was it like? If you go to West Virginia and you had the Aquanaut and then a lot of different places around the area, and go to Allegheny County and Youngstown, Ohio, and play gigs. How was it different in those places than it was in Beaver County, and still today?
Yeah, well, definitely the cover charge situation, because I know some local clubs, $5 for a band was, oh my God, nobody's going to show. Where, for example, we'll be at Fox Chapel Yacht Club on Saturday, and a $10 cover charge is no big deal. And it's just people are accustomed to it. But I love playing local. I love playing local, and the people still come out. They engage with the band and support us, and it's all good.
Mickey CHERICO is our guest. And how did you build your reputation so that even all these years later, people say, "Oh yeah, Mickey, he's great, and I saw him with this band or that band"? Or I must say that you did fundraisers when I worked for the Humane Society. You came out and did Wing Suds and Songs and packed the house
in February. We
had like
those.
500 people at those events, so we sold out. So because your reputation and whatever band you're with follows you.
Sure, thank you. I think just, for me, I just kept going. I started younger with a band called the Skyliners, and I'm sure everybody remembers Ciro's Top of the Mall.
Oh my gosh.
My
gosh, I remember Ciro's. I didn't know you were in the Skyliners.
I was the guitar player and conductor of the band, and I was a young kid. I knew something
about... So Donna
about...
Groom and Jimmy Ross and...
Well, at the time I was there, Mike, Janet Vocal, the original singer, was
beautiful
with the band.
Voice, but a tragedy,
Sad. She, after about a month in the band, she had left the band. But Jimmy Ross and Jimmy Beaumont, the bass singer was Bobby Scholes at the time, great guy. But I was always admired Jimmy Beaumont and Jimmy Ross, of course. But so joined that up, and then later on, Donna Groom came into the picture, who was awesome. Donna and Mark,
still today,
and I know them well.
Right. So you were the guitar player, but that put you in the background a little bit.
It did. It did. I got to sing on the breaks, but I was the kid, so it was okay.
How old were you at the time?
I was 19.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I was 19.
Yeah.
It was interesting. We would play various shows. Of course, that was local, but they did the oldie shows even back then, which on a weekend we'd go to the Beacon Theater in New York City. I got to play the Apollo.
Wow.
And
you got pictures from those days?
I wish.
I know.
That's before cell phones, man. Darn.
But and the Solid Gold oldie shows, the folks that used to come around with, they'd have package deals, and the Skyliners and Percy Sledge and all these other ones that come around.
Well, we'd drive to New York City and kind of, stay there for a couple days and do 2 shows a night. So you do one at 7, and you do about 20 minutes, and then the next band came on, and so on. And then at 10 o'clock was a new show, new audience, and you did that. And
that's fabulous.
as a young guy, it was great experience.
Yeah. Talk about the old clubs. You mentioned Ciro's Top of the Mall, and
That
people
took you back, did it?
Yeah, it did really. And then it went to Bobby Rubino's, or
I know.
the rib shop there.
Great ribs, but
yeah,
the
but
music
it wasn't
wasn't the
Ciro's.
same. Yeah.
Boy, that was a top class nightclub in Beaver County for Beaver
was.
County.
It was, yeah. So,
I know you have the Fez and all that other stuff, and they do an excellent job.
Sure.
But if you took a date to Ciro's Top of the Mall for dinner and music, wow, that was big time.
It was almost like a Vegas type showroom, I guess,
right.
at that time. And I don't know of anything else like it.
Never recaptured that time. Because would they sell, is it Asian food there now? Or is it Mexican food where Bobby Rubino's used to be? Used to be Chi-Chi's, and then,
it's
gone through many changes.
Got many changes. Yeah, many changes. And then it was, a few other things. Yeah,
right.
But,
I can remember those. I when it was Bobby Rubino's, I worked for this radio station, so that was in the early '80s, and it was St. Patrick's Day one time, and we had a Jell-O eating contest.
Oh wow! Yeah. Fun stuff.
For one of the first things I was involved with this radio station back then, doing a Jell-O eating contest.
Yeah.
But what are some of the other clubs around Beaver County?
Well, Beaver County, I remember the Serendipity. Of course, everybody remembers, just some of the top.
Serendipity's in Beaver Falls, right?
That was in Beaver Falls.
Yeah, and it was Club Natural before that.
Club Natural.
And the Jaggers.
A little bit before my time. A little bit.
Yeah.
But great stories about that. I still remember. Where it was located. Yeah.
Right on the corner there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What band were you with then?
I was with actually when the Skyliners didn't work. I played with the Groom brothers, Mark Groom.
Okay.
Before Donna,
Okay.
And Mark's brothers, Terry, played guitar, and Dale played bass. Jackie Cox was a keyboard player, great singer. And when the Skyliners had a gig, we were with them. If not, we were kind of sidelining, moonlighting.
And did you sing with those band? Okay. Because were you sought after guitar player? And at the time, you said you had an agent, but the bands call and say, Mickey, what are you doing weekend?
Yeah. Well, what catapulted, I got the house gig at the Holiday House in Monroeville. So I would back up shows there, and that kind of got my name into the Pittsburgh area and whatnot. And so I'd back up shows and then sing with an 18-piece band, so it was great. In between shows and things like that.
And build it from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Mickey CHERICO is with us on the Best of Beaver County. I'm Mike Romai, and we'll continue on the St. Barnabas Radio Network.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall, in love that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
It's the Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. Mickey CHERICO is our guest. He's been performing around the area. I said 40 years. That doesn't age you, does it? Oh, my God.
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, because do you find at your age, our age now, that when you're getting gigs or you're soliciting for gigs and you say, I've been doing this for 40 years, I say, no, he's kind of old now. We want the younger.
We kind of don't say that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I kind of... the drummer I use, Ronnie Orico, one of the great bands, Gigolo, was in that band.
I remember that.
And one of the females that we sometimes use was in a band called Company B, which had hits in the late 80s, early 90s. And if you're talking to somebody in their 30s, 35s that are booking nowadays,
It's depressing.
It doesn't really mean anything to them,
depressing.
you know. So
yeah, it's a whole new way of doing resumes now. You know, you try and hide that.
Yeah.
You like to think that we've got all this
Hide it.
experience. Yeah,
that's a great.
we've got all this experience. We played these. What? You know, and it might be a little too old for our crowd.
Right.
Yeah, that's tragic. How many different bands? Have you ever thought about how many different bands you've performed with?
Yeah,
and that you've led.
Yeah, it really. I mean, it started. I kind of always took the leading role, I guess, in some situations. Even at 15, when the guys were 20, for some reason, I just did the booking and whatnot.
They were all burnouts, right? They were all loaded, hanging out with the women and smoking weed.
Yeah, they were in a different genre of their lives.
Somebody had to lead the band.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I was a pretty mature 15-year-old, I guess, now that I think about it. But yeah, many bands, but made some great connections, which I still have. Good musician.
Just flashing back on this because I'm thinking of you as a 14-year-old kid, and you're riding in the cars with these other performers, and you're going to gigs, and I'm thinking Almost Famous. And does your mom ever said, "Don't be smoking none of that marijuana"?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
In the 70s, but yeah, it's probably I don't know if it's an envious position for a young boy to be in at that time, but you're really learning the ropes.
Yeah. You did, and like I said, I kind of always went with the business aspect of it. I think I was more
always
in that,
focused on the business
in the booking, and how can we make this better, and can we implement this person, that person, to kind of build it. And of course, once you get into the Skyliners and Holiday House and some of these people, it's like you say, "Yeah, I'm there to do whatever you ask me to do. I'm the backup guy," and that's fine. And that was a great experience, learning experience too.
But did you always want to be the lead?
I didn't want to, but I think
thrust
kind
into
of
that?
was like, somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
It's a dirty job.
Yeah. You got to collect the money at the end of the night.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever get stiffed? You guys performed for 3 or 4 hours and go back and say, and the guy says, "No, we didn't make that much tonight, so we're going to have to cut it"?
That, believe it or not, no. No. I think I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Now that I think
you hear
about
these horror stories where the guy says you got to send the big guy back, and and get the money because they're always trying to rip you off.
Yeah, my uncle Nunzio and Carmine used to follow the band, so
hey,
that
Nunzio
helped.
and Carmine right outside the car.
They're going to collect.
Yeah, that's right. But you played the classier places too. You talk about the Holiday House. You talk about Ciro's Top of the Mall. 2001 VIPs. Remember those days?
Love the VIPs.
Oh, yeah, man.
I don't think the younger generation realizes what they're
Northern Lights Shopping Center.
They missed. Oh, exactly. I remember going there to hear B.E. Taylor.
Yeah.
And great place.
Yeah,
great
and there
place
was one out in Bridgeville, right?
Exactly.
VIP out in Bridgeville.
Oh, sure.
I used to go to all those places.
Sure.
I didn't wear a suit and tie at the time. I had a shirt on that opened up to about here.
Yeah.
I had the gold chains
with
on.
a little gold chain, of course. We all had that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a Mr. T starter kit.
Yeah, and then we go to, and I've mentioned this to you before, I'm sure, the Yellow Sub at the Holiday Inn at the airport.
Yeah.
Remember going there?
I do.
That was a place.
I do. I was a little young to get in.
Those would have been the Gigolo days, I think.
That was before Gigolo days.
Before Gigolo?
Actually,
okay.
Yeah. Because I started with a band, Vic Rangel. I don't know if you know who Vic Rangel is. Great guy, great friend. Just, wanted to manage. Was a great manager, actually, of the band, and wanted to manage my career as a vocalist and everything. But Vic, I kind of got there with him, and I was probably about 20 years old at that time.
Yeah.
But, a little too young to drink, at those days. But
okay, we did enough for you.
Yeah, sure did.
Sure did. But there were clubs all over the place. But you never really swung off in terms of trying to be what's popular now. You didn't do the country wave that hit in the 80s with Johnny Dollars. Remember Johnny Dollars?
Johnny
Dance
Dollars riding the bull up at West Hills Plaza.
Right,
I remember.
That was the urban cowboy years.
That was probably late 70s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was a trend. And I love all styles of music. You know, I do. I was aware of it. We just didn't play it live.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So you tried to be trendy, but you always kept up to date with what's going on.
I kind of out of the rock stage as a young person. I think I got into because of my family influence with actually jazz, R&B. Kind of went to the Earth, Wind and Fire and you know that little more progressive.
Dance. You want people to dance.
Dance stuff, but stuff that was pretty intricate and a little R&B flavor with a little fusion flavor, maybe that kind of stuff. And musicians, I mean, if we could play what we wanted to play, you know, but you got to please what the average Joe wants.
Most of the time people wouldn't pay you for that, right?
They not as much, right?
Go back.
They may stiff you. Who knows?
Right. And so as you move along, after Gigolo, what happened?
Yeah. Well, with Ray DeLisio and I started a band.
There's another name that comes
called C'est La Vie.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
C'est La Vie, and that's a friend of mine, Joe Garuscio. They had started the band, so I was full-time work and kind of took a little break. And they said the Gigolo Modern Man split was happening at that time.
Modern Man.
But I said, you know what, I need a full-time.
You want a gig? Yeah.
Day job, but they came to me and they said the keyboard player quit, and I actually was running the Trombino Music up at the mall, so I
remember seeing you there.
Remember me?
Yeah. You walk past, you're walking through the mall, and there's Mickey standing there, and you're playing on the organ, pianos and stuff.
That was me. And but I honed my keyboard skills there. It was a great learning experience, and the guy said, the keyboard player quit, and we need a keyboard player that could sing. And I'm listening to you play. I think you could do it. I said, well, I play guitar, you know, in bands. So for 20 years, I played keyboards in bands and some bass. So
a big difference in the chords you're playing, chord progressions and all that stuff.
Once you know your theory, kind of put it all together, and with that little jazz and influence, kind of made it happen.
But you're still successful. You're still out there, and I want to bring in the family part of aspect of this. You said you married at 19.
Yeah,
that's got to be tough.
It was tough
for you and your wife.
Yeah, it was tough. And I mean, we're still friends to this day. Of course, we didn't. My oldest daughter, Nicole, who's 47, and she's a singer as well. She had sung with us at some point. So it was tough at that stage. Yeah.
Right. But do you still perform with the girls? Valentina, is that?
Well, my youngest daughter is Valentina, who's 21, and then my 31-year-old, Chris and I have two girls. So I have 3 girls total.
Sure.
But both of them tremendous singers, and my daughter Alexandra, married with child, and you know, she sings with me 2, 3, 4 times a month. Tremendous singer.
Yeah,
tremendous.
I've seen out with them different times. So
I say she's Beaver
known
County's
as the
answer.
divas, or they kind of
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so we kind of took it. You know, when after COVID, the band kind of split up, and you know, it was. What do we do? You know, you kind of reform.
Sure.
So got the girls involved, and Mike, they're awesome.
They are.
Work well together.
Yeah.
I unbiasedly say some of the best singers in Pittsburgh, and you know, Alexandra does Adele. I say she's Beaver County's answer to Adele. She does it that well. Valentina does her thing, and of course doing the original music too. So
she has a recording out there. She's all over like YouTube and stuff like that, social media.
Right. Her song was actually #1 on the New Music Weekly magazine charts. It's a song her and I wrote together. We took a little trip to Nashville, and on the way back, she had this little line in her head of, you know, she kept singing to me, and I said, well, let's work on it. Went home, put it together, and you know,
Yeah.
a year later, it's "Dancing to the Sunrise," and
Okay.
was number 1 on the New Music Weekly charts, indie charts. Top 40, it was number 10. Video did well. Pittsburgh Independent Film Festival. She won Best Music Video for it. And
Wonderful.
I recorded most of it in my living room, which was kind of fun. So
That's how much the whole business has changed. I got a recording studio in your living room.
you do that, and you
Yeah.
send it to the studio, finish
Yeah.
it there, and it was a great experience for her. So
Did you ever, because you know the struggles of being in a band and trying to make a living at it, do you ever try and talk them out of it? Say, come on, you know, yeah.
they try to talk me out of it at this stage, but no, you know, no, not really. If that's their passion, I want them to follow their passion. They have a passion for it, but they're also, I think, business savvy, and they want to do well, you know, and have a family, and you know, so they both have other jobs, and
What are some of the gigs you have coming up? Where can people see Mickey CHERICO, the Divas?
Sure.
Yeah.
We've really gotten into a lot of the Hollywood casino
Oh,
circuit. So
Yeah.
we were just at the Meadows last Saturday. Before that, Youngstown, Mahoning Gaming Casinos. Westmoreland has a live casino right now, which is awesome. A lot of that throughout the summer. I mean, a lot of festivals.
Sure.
A lot of big festivals.
Yeah.
And with the girls, we even did San Rocco Festival with Jimmy Ross and the Jaggers, which is awesome night.
Yeah.
Awesome,
It's always a
awesome
good
night.
time. And,
Yeah.
you know, doing Hopewell, Aliquippa, that area out there.
Yeah.
That's home turf for you?
Aliquippa was my
Yeah.
home turf. Yeah. We have something at Hopewell Park coming up October 12th.
Okay.
But
Is that, you know, an open thing? People pay admission?
That
or
is.
it
It's
a private
gonna,
affair?
it's a Hopewell football booster
Okay.
and
Very
/ wine festival. So check that out. October 12th. That's
And you still doing fundraisers, things like anybody who's looking for performances, they can contact you?
they can contact me. We like the idea of giving back. You know, and I said we're all blessed with talents. We all have our talents, of course, but it's good to be able to give back. And we've done a few fundraisers in the area. And
Depends on the
continue to-
schedule. If the schedule's open, right?
Just give me a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mickey CHERICO, we've been blessed to have you here today, but also as a performer and your family in Beaver County. It's been a wonderful ride, and we hope
Thanks.
to continue that success and see you more in the future.
I hope so. The girls will keep me involved.
All
Yes.
right. And you have a Facebook page or social
We do.
media?
Yeah. Casanova Band Local. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram.
And your web page as well, right?
Webpage as well.
Casanova.
Yeah. Casanova and the Divas.
Mickey CHERICO, thank you.
Thanks,
Always
Mike.
great to see you.
Appreciate it.
Mickey
so much.
CHERICO, our guest, and I'm Mike Romai on the Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network.
Thank you for listening to the Best of Beaver